Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, brothers and sisters. This is Kalila, and I'm back with another video. This video comes by way of I had to make a video about family members who are unappreciative, and no matter what you do for them, they will belittle it as if it's not good enough or be very dismissive and somehow just have no regard for the smallest things. And I say that because that's just the reality of my situation. You know, when you do things for people and they don't have any respect for you, and no matter how much compassion you show them, they just don't care. They just don't care because for whatever reason, in their deluded mind, this is something that either you're supposed to be doing or they really don't even care, period, one way or the other. They're indifferent about it, which is a dangerous place to be at mentally when you're indifferent about something. So, found Luke chapter 12, verses 9 through 12. But the one who denies me before men will be denied before the angels of God. And everyone who speaks a word against the Son of Man will be forgiven. But the one who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven. And when they bring you before the synagogues and the rulers and the authorities, do not be anxious about how you should defend yourself or what you should say, for the Holy Spirit will teach you in that very hour what you ought to say. So instead of me being going tit for tat, I'm choosing not to go tit for tat. I'm choosing to be the bigger person. I'm not changing my colors because this individual just chooses to just have no regard for, you know, your own environment, which is crazy. However, you try to convince me otherwise. And then it's like I've been trying to warn her. And basically, I've been talking to my audience as well. You know, there's a famine that's about to come across the land. And it's basically, I don't understand what's going on because some news reports are showing how some stores are, you have to wear a mask again. In some places, you go and you don't need a mask on. You can shop freely. Restaurants are open now. And I'm just trying to, it's really boggling my mind about the restaurant situation because me personally, we've been under COVID restrictions now for a year. They just started opening up public facilities for use. I'm anxious to know just exactly what did the restaurateurs do with all of that food that they had in those walk-in closets, those walk-in refrigerators and freezers. I mean, how does that even work? I'm curious. Is that the food that's actually being sold right now, or did they throw out all of that food and purchase all new food? I'm just saying, I'm just curious to know how does that exactly work, because according to what was going on here in the United States, especially in the Pennsylvania state, many of the restaurants were very upset because they lost a lot of money and they were trying to find ways to basically stay afloat. So with being able to acquire those PPP loans and but it's funny, a lot of employers got the loans for hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in a lot of cases. However, they still wouldn't bring the employees back at a reasonable wage. And on top of that, they even terminated a lot of employees and they still got to keep the loans. See, this is why I say the leaders, our government, the local government, and the state, our nation is like so foul and out of whack. You still got hundreds of thousands of people out of work, hundreds of thousands of people on unemployment and don't want to go back to work. I mean, because what's the sense in going back to work to make $300-400 a week when you can stay home and get an unemployment check for $300-400 a week? Just saying. I mean, why work hard when you can just work smart and not work at all? But that's a whole nother story. I just found that curious. I've always said that COVID was an excuse for the wealthy to distance themselves from the poor, because even at the height of COVID, the wealthy people were still shopping in the Simon malls, and we all know the Simon malls are the malls of so-called prestige and affluence. So while the people who are disenfranchised, poverty level, or work 9 to 5, the working poor, they were limited in food availability and as far as household products and clothing, they were still they were limited to their resources. So again, I'm really trying to understand what's really going on with our local and our national government, that, some places are open for business and business is booming. And again, in some of the areas for the working poor and the disenfranchised, things are very limited still and scarce. There's a scarcity. So just some food for thought also, along with the fact that, I just had to talk about the relative that just does not appreciate anything, and no matter what, always determined to belittle or just straight disrespect everything. However, your situation has actually improved since I've been around you. However, instead of you acknowledging and appreciating, you just continue to do some of the foulest, most deluded things that I've ever seen an individual do. But you love to brag about what's yours, and I guess you can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, brothers and sisters, I urge you to get into the Word. And when you get into the Word, your mindset begins to change, because God actually starts to mend your heart, mend your spirit, and renew your mind and give you a different perspective on life and the people around you, and encourages us to love even our enemies and pray for our enemies as well. So peace, love, and blessings. Shalom.